Hmm. cavers and want to explore and re-establish a connection with Sarah after the accident. As they all rage and have a good time, Holly mentions to Juno that the cave that they were slated to go to is just a major tourist trap. Because of that, apparently you can't have fun. Juno thinks about this as they head into the next day. Like an absolute psychopath, Juno then goes for a run early the next morning after a night of drinking. As she does, she hits up all the cabins and begins waking everybody up, getting them ready to go caving for the day. Predictably, everyone is in pretty rough shape from the night before, but everyone eventually starts to move. They take one last group photo before leaving, expecting the day to be an absolute blast. Unfortunately, Fate is fresh out of fun and really only has bloodbath left over. They get into their cars and head out in the woods, and what I can only assume is like a 2005 BMW SUV ad placement by how many shots it's in, and then they arrive at their parking location and zooms. It's really lame. Anyways, they begin to hike through the woods where they come across a deer corpse. His body is not really eaten to any capacity, but instead just has small bite marks on the neck. A predator would have probably dragged this thing off and eaten it a little more, which is strange to see. It disturbs the group, but they press on, stacking it up just being a mountain lion or a bear. As they continue to hike, they finally come to the opening of the cave. Now, believe it or not, I actually used to cave in college. Nothing quite like dropping into a cave. It's pretty fun. Except for that one time that I got separated from the group and my flashlight died. Yeah, we had actually just watched this movie too. God. Anyways, they all seem a bit nervous, and Juno is the first to descend with the rest of the group following suit. Now, to spare you the whimsical wonder of a cave, the group walks around oohing and awing at it, which is pretty spot on. If you've ever got a chance to go, I'd say definitely go. Just don't let the bloodthirsty monsters get you, and don't dwell on that, and it shouldn't throw you off. As they enter one chamber of the cave, they begin to take a break and look around. Sarah is told to stick close, but she says that she will, and then she goes off to look for the next area. She eventually finds a route, and Holly moves through it to determine where it goes. As the rest of the group goes through, Sarah finally begins making her way through. However, while she does, she gets stuck and has a freak out. There is nothing quite like getting stuck in a cave with hundreds of thousands of tons of rock above your head. Definitely puts the old meat suit into a panic mode. While she panics, her friend turns around and attempts to calm her down. It quasi-works until a rumbling can be heard overhead. An aptly timed earthquake causes the cave to shake and move. This begins closing off the small tunnel in the cave, and the two quickly begin clambering out of it. They barely escape, but as they do, they forgot their rope bag, which they direly need later on. As they exit the cramped area and begin talking about other exits, the map they have is completely useless. However, because they don't know if those exits are even still open or even still exist. As they discuss how the park rangers will come to find them, Juno reveals that this cave system is not the one they said that they would be in. Instead, nobody is coming for them. Juno says that this is a completely undiscovered system, and she wants them all to discover it together, maybe give it Sarah's name. Which the rest of the group calls BS on that, and says...
Hello?
Hello.
Oh.
With this question.
Hello.
Hello. You guys don't happen to
you?
have any spare duct tape, do you?
Nah, that's why we're heading to get some.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Well, good seeing you.
Unless you want to go for a ride with us.
No. Getting in white vehicles with strangers has never worked.
It'll be fun.
Well,
come on, boy.
Costs $50 for an hour. Have a good one.
See ya.
Says that she was just seeking her own glory and brought them all to meet their end, essentially. Deciding they have no choice to go back, they now have to keep pressing on to see if the cave lets out somewhere else. They come across a massive cavern with an unknowable drop. It's too far to jump across, and they will need to manually set connection points to shimmy across, and as they do, one by one go. Juno is left to pull the points just in case it's needed later on, and then she falls. She is caught, but it slices open the hand of the belayer. Continuing through the cave, they find the first signs that others were there at some point. Cave paintings appear on the wall, which interestingly, if you look at one in particular, it suggests a woolly rhino which existed in western Siberia 8,000 years ago. What it was doing in North Carolina at this point is beyond me. As they move even further, they find climbing equipment from some people some time ago, believing it to be about 100 years old. Nobody uses that stuff anymore, which means more recently, someone had been down there, yet it remained undiscovered, which suggests that they never really got out. With this realization, the morale begins to drop deeper as they move deeper into the cave. Holly ends up seeing what she thinks is daylight and takes off running. Despite being told to stop that it's not daylight, she continues to haul away from the group. Completely by her own fault, she runs out and then falls into a hole. She's grabbed and eventually slips through the grass and then breaks her leg, creating an open wound fracture. If you would like to know what that daylight was, apparently it was phosphorus. As they attempt to set the fracture and stabilize it by tying an axe to it, the sounds attract something in the shadows. Sarah goes to investigate, quickly seeing a creature but not being able to get a good look at it. As she peers into the darkness, Juno arrives to jump scare the crap out of her by asking her what's going on.
Watch Minecraft tutorials without Wi-Fi. Start a free trial of YouTube Premium and game uninterrupted.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses with 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single lens. So whatever your needs, your local Essilor experts have the perfect lens.
She goes on to explain that she has seen something, and Juno reports back to the group that Sarah thinks that she saw something, but Sarah knows for a fact that she did. She begins explaining that this creature is out there and what it looks like to the rest of them as they incredulously listen to her. Now more slowly than ever making their way through the cave with Injured, they all begin to panic to a degree. They can hear something around them, and with Sarah saying she saw something earlier, Rebecca begins to call out from the cave, wanting to know if anyone may be there or listening. So this opens up an entire can of worms in the group. As the camera pans around, it spots a creature behind Beth staring at her with pointed ears and disfigured skin. It runs past, and the group panics. They point their flashlights up, seeing that these things are actually crawling on the walls and ceilings. An attack on the group ensues where Holly is eventually cornered by one and has her throat ripped out by a quick bite. When it does, Holly quickly drops due to the shock, and Juno and the creatures begin fighting over the body. Juno attacks the creature, and it lets out a yell, alerting other nearby subhumans. One jumps onto Juno, and the other takes the body away. Juno overpowers the beast, and then uses an axe to take it out. And here's a perfect example of why you don't sneak up on someone who's pumped up on adrenaline in a cave, being attacked by unknown creatures. Beth quietly approaches her for some reason, which Juno assumes is another monster, and then uses her axe to hit her through the neck. For real though, this is completely Beth's fault. I don't care what is said later in the movie. As Beth falls, she grabs onto Juno's necklace and pulls it off like, oh, what a massive betrayal. No, Beth, you could have said, hey, it's Beth. The group is, at this point, completely scattered, with them all ending up in different chambers. Sarah in particular ends up in the boneyard. As she scans around with her camera, she finds many different types of animals, suggesting that these things are actually hunting on the surface, but she also finds human remains, indicating that they will definitely eat humans if given the chance. And she witnesses this firsthand as the creatures rip apart Holly right in front of her. Sam and Rebecca are currently hiding in a small dugout area of the cave as another one of these creatures moves through. They attempt to stay as quiet as possible, but her watch ends up going off. Before the creature is able to kind of echolocate it and attack them, Juno is back up on her feet and begins yelling out for everyone. The creature hears this and then takes off to go locate her, leaving these two alone for now. As the creature approaches Juno, she shines her flashlight and it stops. It listens, but it can't seem to locate her until finally it just runs off. Moving back to Sarah, the creatures have had their fill and move out. She lights a torch and begins looking around the gore all around her. Seeing human remains and what's left of Holly, Sam, Rebecca, and Juno all meet back up as Juno takes out one of the creatures. As they do, they inspect it to see what it actually is. They see that it has massive ears, its skin is pale and devoid of pigmentation almost entirely, and they appear to be completely blind, with the pupil being as white as the eye because it is underdeveloped, suggesting that these things have been down here for a very long time. Generations, in fact. With Sarah still moving alone through the bone pit, eventually she does spot Beth laying on the ground. Beth is still alive, but unable to move very well, suggesting that maybe there is some spinal cord damage to the hit to the neck. She goes on to say that Juno did this to her, which again, I'm sorry bro, but you did this to yourself. However, she is correct in saying that Juno did leave her there to kind of meet her end, but again, after she fell, most people would have likely assumed the same thing. Beth is basically just, she's kind of a douche. Regardless, she hands Sarah Juno's necklace, which has the same words inscribed on it that Paul used to say, which indicates maybe there's a little more between Juno and Paul than Sarah knew. Beth is in a great amount of pain at this point, and she asks Sarah to end it. Sarah reluctantly agrees and then smashes the old brain case with a rock. Immediately after this, Sarah is attacked by a child form of these creatures. She ends up taking out, and whoops, there's Mom to inspect why her child isn't moving anymore. Sarah takes off with Mom right behind her. She falls into a pool of blood and slowly resurfaces, and as she does, Player 2 has entered the game and begins to attack her. She's able to grab a deer antler and then hits the creature directly in the head with it, taking her out in the process, and as she moves towards the torch, another appears and she bludgeons it with a bone, taking that one out as well. The other part of the group decides that they need to go back out the way they came, even though there's a little cave-in and there's nowhere to go. Juno, Rebecca, and Sam all try to escape, and as they do, Sam goes back up into the chasm area to set the points. As she does, another creature...
Good, I'ma smack him real quick.
No, that's
Nope.
not Spartan. That's Spartan.
Howdy. Where you
Yo,
guys
yo, yo.
going?
Down the road. We gotta
Picking up
hurry up though,
recoil
man.
down the
We'll be
road.
back here in just a
Yeah,
second.
you-
We'll be back in just a second.
Bye, have a great time. Bye, bitch.
Okay. Oh, who's in jail today?
Stop getting that out.
I love the. I tell you what, right? I fell in love with the VSS with this scope. I do not like this scope. This scope is like.
Don't know why I've took your pants.
Okay,
I don't really like.
Why
it.
they
took my pants off, you fucking pervert?
Hello.
Kevin said.
Who's in jail?
I'll show you the board, mate. There's not much
Danny.
to look at.
All the crackheads.
Punch the policeman.
You have to.
There's not much to look at, mate. It's cold outside. I'm old. It's all
How long has he got?
Hey, little.
With the same age.
You want your
Don't
Yamaz on
know.
it as well?
Yeah.
He took my pants off.
Yeah,
but he wants to
me and
look at my
Yamaz on this
penis.
property.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Daddy, you're gonna have to struggle out of those cuffs, man. For fuck's sake.
What, you've cuffed me now? I've got to struggle out of them? Mate, you're going to shit, yo. What's happening here? You're flapping, mate. You're flapping.
No. Oh, I found the keys.
There's just-
Never mind.
Was it a new guy?
Jesus Christ, mate. I've seen better on
Funny enough, no.
For
Shut
next
up, I'm
election,
fucking
you know, if you want a politic
Yeah,
party,
I've
I'll
seen
set
better
it up. for you.
organised brothels, bro.
Well,
Hey,
Carl,
stay
I'll set it
sick.
up.
Anybody got a C
I don't want
jacket
that
that matches my pants?
I know you do.
Right.
No, sorry.
Right,
I always
he's
get
No,
people
mate.
green.
But
A clip
No,
of you.
if people
twatting
won't
in
vote
verse.
if you're not
You
there.
need to give me those
They
handcuffs.
called me
You
a
need to
fucking
stick it
space
blood-
hopper.
You are a space fucking hopper. Grab the goddamn
like-
pants, man.
I've
Wait
lost
for
£2
president.
this week, mate. They called me a space hopper.
Is there only one cop?
Hey, what time is it?
You're making
10
space for
minutes.
all that
10
extra-
minutes left.
Okay,
Well,
mate.
12 minutes
I'll
left
walk
till
into
vote.
cell, mate. You defend those.
Brain,
If
do
you
you
vote
want me to go
starting-
and find you some decent
I'm
clothes?
not
I think
trying
I've
to
got
do
some in the
that, I'm
house.
just trying to get this over and done with so I can deal with that
Just
shit.
maybe
Pants on.
a
Got
bit of
BDUs.
jacket.
Pants back,
Like,
mate.
I'd
Can I
really
get
say,
a
like,
jacket?
ditch this. I'd ditch this.
Yeah, we
You have a
Come-
good fucking whiff of them,
come
mate.
to the house, Brain.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, stick a shit.
Okay.
Anyway,
Can I get
give me
one
those
too?
Save
fucking
6
handcuffs.
tuning. Get ready, boy.
Right.
I'll fight you.
Right, anyway,
Wow.
give me those handcuffs.
How long have I got? You haven't even told me.
Hey, Danny.
What?
You haven't even told me how long I've got.
Alright.
I tried to punch that other guy, mate, and you walked it when I punched you by accident. How long have I got? You haven't even told me.
I can see you.
I'm looking at the laws now. 30 minutes.
What, assaulting an officer? Is that his charges?
Yeah.
They got fucking
Hi,
Stage
Danny.
6 tuning, which is, I know it is, fucking antagonising me. And then he stood there punching me, and I tried to punch him out, get you right.
I don't
you
even have
actually
a radio
arrested
to
him.
play.
You even pulled your Vega out of him, bro, and didn't do nothing of it. What's happening, bro? He was stood there punching me in the face, and you just pulled your Vega out. That's how I said, and then you let him off.
Hey, can't you throw stuff
Just
through
let
those
him off.
bars in the
I'm
window?
actually still waiting for a fucking
You can,
video
but you'll get in
of it,
trouble.
To be honest.
Well, as a citizen, mate,
How
as
is
a
it
We're
gonna-
actually not
he
even
punched
supposed to
me
be
on the
standing
time
here.
Before I caught you by accident, so I wanted
What?
arrested.
This is
It's like this
uh,
whole area in the
this
front
is
of
public
it, so
property.
we're not allowed to stand.
Alright, well everyone's fucking
Yeah, they
disappeared.
don't work like that. This
He's
is
gone down
Gestapo
that way.
stuff, man.
He's going down that
Which
way.
way?
fucking
Way it works.
I'm not
Nazis.
a grass, but he's gone that way.
Yep. No, I'm not even kidding, man.
the way, bro. I won't.
Hey, are you gonna let? No.
I'm
Nice.
arrested,
That
guys.
was a
I'm
good first
arrested.
job.
Why? You do.
Fucking thing is punching me. I tried to punch him back and I accidentally punched fucking the officer and he got away. He hadn't arrested the other guy punching me.
Because I'm still waiting for a fucking video.
Or I'll
probably
fucking shoot.
Go and get him. You know, oh, you know what it is, don't you?
Unless
Do-
my
do you
thing's
know
fucked
who
up, I
fucking-
think we wrecked into the
that
police
tuner
department.
guy is, don't you?
You guys,
Alright,
one sec.
alright.
What?
You know that tuner guy who punched me? You know it is, don't you?
Hey,
Oh, I think he
Recoil.
blue screened.
Hey?
Yep.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh,
Go
hey.
get him
This
then.
doesn't start the point. I'm gonna get him. I just need to fucking sort this shit out. It's fucking annoying as shit that I've been left here by myself
No,
to
you-
deal with this. Good talk.
Oh, am I supposed to
Rico,
join the party?
Cartel members out there, don't get oh, no shit, mate. He's my friend. Don't get no shit, boys. I've got a joke this, I've got all the respect for it. The user would come and give some shit, but don't do it to our boys, please, to me. Else you don't have me to do with.
Jesus, can you at least
Well,
shut the
as
doors?
an official Harley Davidson technician, your engine is still operational.
Yeah, I was a good
Thanks for
guy,
that.
mate. I go back a long time ago, guys.
Aye.
But alright, I fucked up with that though, mate. He punched me first.
Oh
you
yeah,
watched him punch
trust
me
me,
back.
and I
It's all good,
fucked
isn't
up with this. Especially now that he's fucking disappeared.
Rico, boss man.
What's up?
Yo.
Going down to road right towards Penham House and find that stage 6 tuning. It's obviously Bush's altar count. He fucking punching me first, bro. He's gone down there with Willow and Bed Diver. He's here. Go on, stage 6. Get him. Arrest him, Aya. Arrest him.
Me first, I've
This
got
is-
proof.
Food. I need
Fuck
food.
off,
The
mate,
stage
stuff
6
fingers
guy
on
is
me.
the one who's been assaulting people?
Yeah, but no, you said I punched you first. Don't lie about me.
No, I never said you punched
Wait,
me first.
he
I said
did
you
it?
stood there punching me.
You've just said that I punched you first.
Alright,
Just took
lads,
the finger
here,
from
hold
me.
on.
And then you punch
Yeah,
me
that's
like
the
a
Can you
nigger.
guys
Yeah,
take
that's
my
why I've got
guns?
black eyes. I've got black eyes
Yeah,
and eggs on my
I didn't
eyebrows,
punch
mate.
you once
And I'm literally
until you
going to my
punched me.
fucking school prom tomorrow, bro.
Oh,
Now you
you
fuck my
punched-
eyebrows.
No, I'll just shove them in the
Listen,
car.
You punched me, and then I punched you back.
You-
What
you-
the
mate,
difference is,
alright,
Oh, there you
yours
are.
was the love tap, mine was the 5-piece combo.
Alright. You pulled your Vega
Hey,
out on this guy
boss.
punching me.
Yeah, boss.
Yeah.
You can.
Let's get across
I'm
the
gonna
street
shove
for
my
a
guns
second.
in the car,
Start
and I'm
the
going to get jailed.
Conversation.
Alright.
So you got video of him punching you
You
first?
got a shovel.
Well, I've just blue screened there, so obviously I haven't now.
Nah, I'll just straight up
I'd
punch him.
imagine if one of them would be a...
Knock him out with a shovel. It'd be better.
I was-
Yeah, but I'll get in trouble longer. And I really don't want to be
No, you
jailed.
Come on, Double. You're a pussy. If you're gonna go to jail, you better do it right, man. Just grab the shovel.
Holy shit.
Alright.
Anthony's gonna do it. If you don't, Anthony, back up.
No, I got it.
Times to stop.
Who the fuck
Yeah, I
wants
did
it?
when she said stop.
Here, I
and then
think
you
I
punched you, didn't you?
took everything
I
out.
tried to punch him in
Right.
face because it blocked my eye.
Who is it?
I got
Stage
the
6?
I didn't kill anyone, right? Good.
No, you're good. Do you want to take the car and put it? I'll put the car with them. I want to watch
Yeah,
this.
I don't want to fuck with that car no more, bro. The last thing I said is get out of the road. I'll kill
Yeah,
you.
there you
I'm gonna
go.
wait for the cops to move.
Stage 6, mate, before that, you pulled your finger out, you punched her about 6 times in a row, you didn't do it.
What
Get
happened?
in front of the cops. Fuck,
No, that's a
fuck,
different.
fuck
mean,
the-
Lefty, what happened?
Yeah, for real. Pull at me and boss man.
Is that enough there?
What happened to...
Admission of
What
guilt.
happened to Danny?
I'd rather have a mono, bro.
Move
than a
away from the
fucking
window.
Uni, bro.
Mate,
What happened with Danny? What happened?
What is he doing out the window?
I ain't done shit.
Danny went to
Like,
jail
they
because that
just-
stage 6 tuning guy right
there.
there
it's only fair.
Matt the
punched,
cat.
punched
Matt the
him and
cat
then he
is
engaged
his-
in assault on Danny.
Alright,
And
you've
then
got to
Mother
arrest
God.
Stage
Police
6,
car.
mate. You punched him, you watched him do it.
Oh
What
my
the
fucking
fuck?
god!